Yo, what's up guys, it's Jay Smith here. Hope you guys are having a great day. In today's video, we're talking about the main differences between the wall wrecker and the log launcher. So we are going to be covering the main differences between the two siege machines, and then we're going to be talking about the differences in stats between the two, and then finally come to a conclusion of what I personally think is better, which is of course is my opinion, but ultimately it is very situational, which we'll be getting into more shortly. So I hope you guys do enjoy the video. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and hop into it. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the main differences between the log launcher and the wall wrecker. So first things first, the wall wrecker is the first siege machine you unlock when you have the workshop, whereas the log launcher on the other hand is the last siege machine you unlock with the workshop. So the wall wrecker on one hand is melee based and you have to be up to a structure in order to do damage, whereas the log launcher is you're shooting projectiles every 3 seconds that travel up to 20 tiles, or it hits 4 buildings and it stops. It does have a point blank feature where the building, if it's in its way and it's in very close proximity, it will do massive damage to that building until it goes down, and then it will continue with the 20 tiles or 4 buildings. And the wall wrecker on one hand is relatively fast and it's very tanky, so it can almost serve as an extra tank for these really long pushes, or maybe you don't have enough troop space depending on your army composition. So sometimes it may be better to use a wall wrecker if you want to use it as a tank, let's say in place of a golem or a lot of giants, etc. Whereas the log launcher on the other hand is honestly pretty darn slow, and it has depreciating health, but it does counter that with its ranged damage. So it goes hand in hand, and that's really the main differences between the two on a very basic level. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the main differences in stats between the wall wrecker and the log launcher. So the wall wrecker at level 1 has 5,300 HP, whereas the log launcher only has 4,000. So at a base 1, level 1 difference, it is a pretty massive difference, 1,300 HP difference, whereas even at a max level of log launcher, which is level 4, it only has 5,200. So that is actually less than a level 1 wall wrecker. So as you can see here, there is a very big difference in HP between the wall wrecker and the log launcher. So if you do have to push in very deep into the base, you have to go in pretty far, and it's going to take a lot of tanking power. It is definitely recommended that you use a wall wrecker to go in for those really deep pushes. But for the shorter ones, it almost seems that the log launcher does make more sense a lot of the time. But ultimately, it does depend on your comp. And so when we talk about the differences between the wall on the damage to walls, we can really just take a look at this chart right here. So if we look at it from a max level here, we're looking at the level 4 differences. As you can see, it takes about 5 logs to break through a level 14 wall as a max log launcher, whereas the wall wrecker, it takes about 2 hits to go ahead and break through those walls. And something to take note of is that the wall wrecker does have a faster attack speed at 1.3 seconds compared to the 3 seconds of the log launcher, but again, it is a little bit of a trade here because we're talking about ranged versus melee. So two really big and honestly just very different siege machines. Before I talk about my final opinion on what I think is better, something I just want you guys to take note of is that at Town Hall 12 and 13, the log launcher, you do have to do some additional planning of how you're going to use it, because the logs attacking the Town Hall will activate the Giga Teslas, so that's something you have to take into account for when you're doing your planning, is that the Giga Teslas will probably get activated a little bit earlier than you're used to, just because the logs are hitting it much earlier. But to give you the short answer of what I think is better, I personally think the log launcher is better. And I just want to take a look at this replay right here and give you the exact reason why. So the log launcher, as you guys can see, is pretty far out, and it's already taking out the queen and getting a ton of value on these buildings in the core. I like it because I think that the log launcher has the potential to get a lot more value than the wall wrecker does, at least in the current state of the game. And I just think the amount of value that you can get out of it, from attacking buildings in the core or being able to eliminate the clan castle before it is able to deploy any troops, or the ability to destroy a town hall before you're even close to it. There's so many creative ways you can go ahead and use the siege machine, especially at a high level and with a decent amount of planning. I think it's just better than the wall wrecker, but it is very situational and in that opinion, because it really ultimately depends on the plan, the base, and the army composition that you ultimately are going to be using, because sometimes the wall wrecker is going to be better, sometimes the log launcher is going to be better, but if I had to take one day over day, it would personally be the wall wrecker, reason being just because of the potential value that you're really able to get out of the siege machine. But please don't sleep on the wall wrecker. Seriously, it is so great for so many pushes that are so useful every single day. So that is gonna wrap up this video, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below, what is your personal favorite and what do you think is better?